Alrighty, well, welcome everyone to today's Cafecito in ISLA and called Equity in Latinx Education. My name is Antonio Alanis, and I'm very excited to welcome you to tonight's talk. ISLA is a 501c3 organization currently located in Durham, North Carolina, but we are serving 8 different counties: Durham, Orange, Chatham, Alamance, Wake, Guilford, Person, and more. Our mission is to build community and leadership through educational Spanish language and cultural immersion programs, and we envision an equitable society strengthened by the power, knowledge, and value of Latin American languages and cultures. Today we have a very special talk, one of the first cafecitos of the year. We are talking about becoming a monthly sustainer and to support our programs. Through 4 core programs or areas, we serve native Spanish-speaking students, second language learners of Spanish, parents seeking resources to advocate for their families and to navigate the education system, as well as individuals learning Spanish through outdoor education programs. Through all these 4 programs, we pride ourselves in exploring the richness and diversity of Latin America, its history, contributions, and most importantly, our language, which is Spanish. So nuestra comunidad, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, indigenous communities make up nearly 1 million people out of 10.5 million residents of North Carolina. And most members of this community speak Spanish as either a native or heritage language. But our systems exclude the Spanish language and the representation needed to erase any race or value, excuse me. For young children and young adults being raised in this community and country, this causes internalized racism, and ISLA counteracts this by transforming and uplifting the experience of Latino, Latinx, Hispanic youth in North Carolina through growth in community and cultural understanding and community cultural competency that is ingrained and intertwined in everything that we do. We are here tonight to start again our Cafecito program for people who just joined. This is our yearly fundraiser, and we're excited that during the 2021-2022 school year, we serve over 200 Latino, Latinx, Hispanic youth, pre-K3 to high school through our Saturday Heritage Language Program, 36 second language learners of Spanish from public schools and homeschool groups across the state. And we reached over 1,000 families and rising through our Isla Padres resources, which includes our workshops and virtual events, right? This year, we are here because we were seeking to increase the impact and also sustain our programs and provide the best quality of instruction and opportunities for all of us, for all of our students and our parents. Today, through a Cafecito, again, for people who just joined, we're launching our monthly sustainer program, Mas Isla, which will be a variety of fundraising events throughout the year, including Spanish for Adults, the Beach House Raffle. They will run from November 3rd, 2021 to June 30, 2022. And we will also have cooking classes, Spanish for Adults as well, cocktail hours, food sales, and so much more. So today, why are we here? More in depth, we want to focus on 3 main areas focusing on our fundraising efforts. One, we are inviting 3 amazing ISLA representatives, including Miss Cindy and also Nodia and Emily, who I'll introduce in a minute. But today we're here to talk about 3 fundraising efforts, including the anti-racism and anti-discrimination education that ISLA is doing, which all of us will learn a little bit more in a couple of minutes. Second, investing in our educators. And third, closing the opportunity gap for our students. We're here tonight to not only tell, but show that every dollar will count, and that this year it's very important that we get your support. This year, we are excited and want to gain 100 monthly sustainers and raise over $75,000 to continue the great work that we have in ISLA. I have a very important thing to say as we learn all about what ISLA is doing in terms of equity in education. We will be raffling a coffee a closed coffee shop gift certificate. So make sure that you put in your name and your email address. It will be contacting you as we raffle the ticket. Okay. So please again put your name and email address. All right. So today we have the wonderful pleasure to welcome Cindy Salazar, who is our education programs manager. Hola, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. We also, yes, we also have Nodia, who is our ISLA Jóvenes teacher. Bienvenida, Nodia.
Gracias.
Gracias por venir. And third, we have Emily, one of our ISLA Jóvenes student who will be also participating. So I have 3 questions for all of you, and I will be starting right now. As well, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And also don't forget to, or remember rather, to put in your name and email address to enter the coffee shop raffle. So my first question is, and we'll start with Nodia. Why should people fund ISLA's anti-racist education and anti-discrimination education in all of our 4 core areas? If you can start, Nodia.
Thank you for that generous introduction. I want to make clear that I work for ISLA because I value ISLA's vision and my passion for becoming a community leader, for example, with a focus on social justice stems from having experienced social inequities as an immigrant in the United States. I am an Afro-Indigenous woman from Latin America, and I understand firsthand the many obstacles some must overcome because of the lack of knowledge around cultural differences in this country. Besides, school districts rarely make necessary efforts to equip teachers, staff, and administrators with the necessary resources that would accommodate the needs of students from marginalized demographics. Funding is needed in ISLA because we need to help to create a more nurturing and culturally responsive environment for these students and their families. An anti-racist education helps to equip students with the information that helps them to develop critical consciousness. It is this kind of education that helps our students to become agents of positive social change in their own communities.
Thank you so much, Nodia, for that amazing first answer. I will now pass it on to our student from Isla Jóvenes, Emily. Please, why should people fund ISLA's anti-racist and anti-discriminatory education in all of our 4 core areas?
Yeah, thank you. For me, as a youth, I find it very overwhelming at times to see this happening right now. And I think it's very integral that we acknowledge the issues that are happening within our community. The lack of discussions and about racism and these kinds of issues have overshadowed them entirely, and it allows them to go unchecked. And it is incredibly harmful for us to keep ignoring these things, especially in a trusted area where we can feel comfortable and safe. And like I said earlier, as a youth, seeing this type of imbalance is just very, very overwhelming. And our schools never touch on these issues, and we are honestly left in the dark by those who are older than us and using our age as an excuse to just belittle us and to let us ignore these issues. And it has taken a toll on us, whether it's visible or not. And it is way overdue for these conversations to be held. And not only does ISLA allow these talks to happen, they allow us youth understand and unpack these conversations together with peers and trusted adults. And by helping, you're honestly funding the education of parents, students, and others involved, which makes a positive change in this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. And I do want to say that we are very proud of Emily's work. She has been working with me to provide more funding to apply to grants that allow us to learn more about anti-racism, particularly through a grant that we are funded. And I want to thank you for that. I do want to invite everyone again to go on to our website. That is laislaschool.org, and click on the Become a Sustainer. There you will have the options of becoming a monthly sustainer, and we really ask you to consider donating anywhere from $5 to $250. You have various options to continue to donate to ISLA. We really, really want you to become a part of this life-changing education, as Nodia and Emily are saying. So now I would like to ask the same question to Cindy. How and why should people donate and sustain ISLA's anti-racist and anti-discriminatory education?
Yeah, well, it's very important that we start talking about anti-racism and discrimination in our community. For so long, it was a taboo, or quote unquote, it never happens, but it does. Not only around other, different groups, but in our community, within our community. Um, so we need to have these conversations so that we can start slowly dismantling these issues, and it starts with our youth. Something that I love about ISLA is that, we can allow our youth to have these conversations in a safe environment, free of judgment, where they can have these conversations that otherwise they would not have in their Monday through Friday schools. And this is something that they love to talk about during, their ISLA classes. So, we need funding in order to continue providing our youth with the necessary resources and knowledge about this topic so that we can, continue having these topics and see them grow as leaders, strong leaders, and confident in who they are, and, help them understand the world around them.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cindy, for that amazing work that I see every day, as particularly on Isla Los Sábados. Every Saturday, we have an amazing experience with students and parents who work tirelessly to bring in their students, and also educators, one of them being Nodia here tonight, and we would not be able to do the work without people like Nodia, and of course students like Emily. So thank you for your trust. Again, if you're just arriving, this is Isla's Cafecito, titled Equity in Latinx Education. We'd love to invite everyone to become a monthly sustainer, and if you just arrived, we're going to do a raffle to close coffee at the end of the presentation. So make sure to put in the chat your name and email address, and we'll be selecting a lucky winner and sending you, mailing you a sponsored by tonight's sponsor, a close coffee. So I would like to move on to the next question, which is the following. Nadia, I would like to start with you again. Again, why should donors invest in teachers, particularly around ISLA's teachers who work at ISLA?
Sure, that is a very important question, because all teachers at ISLA work on developing culturally conscious material. We prepare high school students to engage in community service, and we co-create content with the students centered around dismantling perceived negative images about Latinx immigrant students. When it comes to social justice, we want to make educational decisions that protect rather than violate the basic rights, liberties, and entitlements of individuals and groups. Therefore, as a culturally responsive leader, ISLA organization addresses inequities in schools by creating culturally conscious content and engages in efforts of guiding Latinx students in the process of understanding which resources better service their unique educational needs. Also, for some parents, it may become overwhelmingly difficult and discouraging to navigate a complex social system in a new country, which is why ISLA engages the parents in providing information about navigating the education system in this country.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for that amazing, very, very happy to hear that we need to really invest more in our teachers, because we owe the work, not only ISLA teachers, but every teacher and educator throughout, specifically now in these very trying times. So thank you for that. I would like now to ask Emily the same question. And also, please, everyone, we do have an option of donating through the Instagram function. So thank you for the $5 donation. We really, really appreciate that. And we are very excited that you all are here tonight. So Emily, the same question. Why should donors invest in teachers regarding, well, in ISLA?
Yeah. First of all, I just gotta say I have had the privilege of having some amazing teachers. Like my current teacher, Maestra Nodia, is absolutely amazing. Even though I've only had her for one day, I can already tell we're going to get along just well. And my former teacher, Cindy, who has been there for so long and has helped me in so many ways, I can just say that it has been amazing seeing the work that the teachers here at ISLA put into everything. Their generosity, their time, their effort, it's definitely not unseen here. And I really do admire everything they do, preparing material for students and managing a classroom in a time where we have so many things going on. I really do applaud them for everything that they've done, and they've handled it with grace. And I know for us students, being here in Isla is a place to call a haven, a second home where we can honestly embrace our culture and diversity. Unlike our schools where they prefer us to follow some sort of normal standard where we tend to hide who we are. But I know when I come here to Isla, I can gain new knowledge about my culture and learn at a healthy rate that works for me. And I know that I can speak freely in my native language here without having to worry about anything. And like I said earlier, I just applaud the teachers here at Isla for everything that they do. And they honestly deserve all the support and everything, all the resources we can give them.
Thank you so much, Emily, for that. Means a lot to hear that as well. We really are working hard. Alrighty. For people who just joined us, please remember to go onto our website, laislaschool.org, and click on the Become a Sustainer. And you have options to donate either from $5, $10, $15, $20 to $250 per month to help support the wonderful work that we are that our teachers like Nodia and Emily just explained. So I'd like to pass on to Cindy. Cindy, why should people donate and invest in our teachers?
Yeah, so teachers are core. Without them, there would be no ISLA. I mean, there would be no teaching period. And so our teachers, they spend several hours, preparing and making sure that our students are learning Spanish and having fun in a safe and healthy environment. So they should be compensated for this accordingly. Not only that, but they need to receive the proper professional development, the proper resources, the proper tools, so that they can continue providing our students the best education they can receive. We cannot teach our students about unique topics if our teachers are not well equipped to do so. So we all know that the future of our youth is in their hands, yet they are the most underpaid. So they need to be compensated and held at a higher pedestal because they are the ones getting the job done. So let's fund our teachers so that they can continue doing the amazing work that they do. And we love our ISLA teachers.
Thank you, Cindy. I do want to thank you for those amazing words. And I do want to say people in the chat have been communicating. There was a comment saying that we need to be the example that we want to see in the world, and that's important for us. Please, again, consider joining, becoming a multi-sustainer by going to laislaschool.org and investing in your teachers by allowing us to continue to promote top quality professional development, equitable pay, and diverse opportunities for our educators who are continuing to change the world through education. And we have one more question for tonight. If you just arrived, please write your name and email. We'll be choosing a lucky winner for a Cloche Coffee Shop a gift certificate. So please write your name in there. And the last question for tonight is again for Novia. Why should people fund to close the opportunity gaps for students and families in ISLA?
Great. Some scholars who study, like opportunity gaps in school, education gaps, says that the existing disconnect between schools and the community leads to be exclusionary places for minoritized children, despite the rhetoric around equitable or social justice education, intending to keep people of color from accessing schools with quality resources and education as part of exclusionary practices. As a culturally responsive leader, ISLA is focused on developing equity-minded strategies to contribute to a more equitable and sustainable education. Our pedagogical material and concepts of discipline are all take into consideration the students and the community's ways of knowing and the community's ways of learning. This effort requires that we all join forces and work together to sustain empowering our students, while at the same time, we want to provide them with an opportunity to develop the necessary critical consciousness to be part of creating a more democratic society.
Thank you, Nadia. I appreciate those amazing words as always. People, if you all can also send us a blue heart into our direct messages. That way you can also join our raffle if you feel more comfortable sharing your information in private. That's also highly encouraged. So thank you, Nadia, for those amazing words. I would like to also ask Emily, why should we invest in closing the opportunity gap through ISLA's work for students?
Thank you. Yeah, as a student, I can honestly corroborate how much ISLA has positively impacted me. Being here, I feel like my self-identity has thrived tremendously, and I no longer feel ashamed of who I am in comparison to myself a couple of years ago. And it has definitely helped my relationship and everything I do. For example, my parents, I used to be reproachful of their help or any guiding questions that they gave me, but now I can honestly converse with them without any shame of speaking my native language, and they are incredibly supportive of everything I've done. And ISLA has also helped me recognize the inequities that I face as a Hispanic Latina. And instead of allowing myself to suffer, I've been able to find my voice and be vocal about these discrepancies in order to bring change that is necessary. And I know I'm not the only one who's experienced this. I know my peers have, and I know that there are more people out there who have. And honestly, my goal is just to help everybody, especially students, be impacted the way that ISLA has impacted me. And I urge everybody here today to help fund this amazing opportunity that's going on right now.
Thank you, Emily, for that. Amazing as always. Would like to ask finally Cindy for the last question of the night. Why should people or donors fund to close the opportunity gap through ISLA's work?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much what Emily was saying at ISLA, our students, they're not just learning Spanish and about culture, but they're also learning about their self-identity and how to be more confident and proud of who they are, who their families are, where they're from, and the language they speak. And so ever since they're small, we tell children, you know, that they're able to achieve whatever they want as long as they work hard, are humble and ambitious. However, and that they, you know, they have all these opportunities that probably their parents weren't able to have. However, there's a system in place that is not allowing them to have to achieve their full potential. So, you know, things like the language barrier, lack of resources, discrimination, racism. And so all of these are obstacles that our students face. And at ISLA, we have a saying, knowledge is power. So let's give our students and families a chance at all of those resources, that knowledge, those opportunities, so that they can too go out into the world as powerful individuals. And so they are human, they have a voice just like everyone else. So they should be able to show up to places, go into a room, and be proud of who they are, just like anybody else.
Thank you, Cindy, for those words. As usual, you really hit the nail on the head.
Thank you.
I do want to also allow people in the chat and people who are joining us tonight to ask questions, particularly around the 3 branches that we presented today, and I'll review them very quickly. The closing the opportunity gap for our students and families, investing in our teachers, and also funding anti-racism and anti-discriminatory education. So we have Cindy Salazar, we also have Novia, and we have Emily. They can also answer questions. We have, I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about, formulate your questions. But do please, everyone, consider again becoming a monthly sustainer by logging into our website, laislaschool.org, and clicking on becoming a monthly sustainer. We'll be happy to provide more information there as well. So the floor is open to anyone. I'm seeing some of these comments here. Yes, we are honored to have each of you as leaders in our comunidad. See, I totally agree. Thank you. So we have the floor open for any questions. I'm going to see the chat here for anything while we wait. Please send a blue heart to our direct messages to enter the raffle for tonight, and we will be contacting you. Alrighty, any more questions? I don't see anything here, unless Cindy, do you see anything? No? Okay. So, alrighty, so if there are no questions tonight, we want to thank you all for your amazing time. Again, please consider becoming a monthly sustainer by logging into ISLA and clicking on become a member. And thank you all again. We will be having a Facebook Live at 7:30 p.m. in about 30 minutes. So it will be in Spanish in Facebook. So log on to ISLA NC en Facebook, and we'll be happy to also conduct this in Spanish. So muchísimas gracias a todas por esta excelente noche, y estemos en contacto. And please remember, everyone, to support ISLA's amazing work. Muchas gracias.
Donate. Bye. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.